When I first moved to Switzerland, my friends had warned me, Amy, it's not like in the States. If you get stopped by a cop for doing something wrong while you're driving, you will get a ticket. And I thought, okay, if and when that day happens, I'll be prepared. Ha! Well, that day finally came. I remember I was driving down this really small, quiet street. And as I was going down the street, I noticed a cop parked on the corner. And as I passed him, we were so close that we made eye contact. Now, up to this point, everything was okay, until the car coming from the opposite direction flashed their lights at me, and I realized, oh no, I'm going down a one-way the wrong way, and I just passed a cop. Now, at this point, I knew he was going to stop me. So I thought, what do I do? Maybe I can remedy the situation. So I turned down another road, because I thought at least he'll see I realized I made my mistake. Only to discover that street was also a one-way going the wrong way. That's right. At this point I thought, Amy, girl, just stop where you are, because this is only going to get worse. So I pulled the car over, and I waited for the cop to find me. Sure enough, about 8 seconds later, I hear the sirens and I see the flashing lights. And I told myself, Amy, you know you're going to get this ticket. There's no way out of it. What do you want to happen? And I thought, I just don't want this to be an emotionally painful experience. Okay, that was clear. So I decided I was going to stay partner. Though I should tell you, as this cop approached my car, he looked like something out of a Clint Eastwood movie. I'm not making this up. He had the boots on, he had the sunglasses on, he was all buff. And then, when he got to my window, he speaks to me in very aggressive French. He says, do you know what you were doing? Do you know how dangerous that was? Now, it was in this moment that, I must say, going Predator was very tempting. Because I thought, I know I'm getting the ticket anyway. Why should I put up with this attitude? And I even had this fantasy of saying something like, yeah, whatever. Just give me the ticket. Laced with attitude. Luckily, I resisted the temptation, and I even imagined for a split second, what if I go pray here, saying something like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I'm an American woman. And I must admit, not proud of this moment, though that worked really well one time on a highway in Ohio. Though don't worry, this time my inner feminist, she kicked in, she's like, girl, don't even think about it. So I resisted going Predator. I resisted going prey. I managed to stay partner. I simply looked at him and I calmly said, no, monsieur. Oui, monsieur. And I had given him my license. He gives it back to me. He says in this snarky tone, why don't you sign it while you're at it? And I thought, okay. I was supposed to do that 7 years ago. Next, he walks around my car because he's looking for some other infraction. When he doesn't find something, he must have been pretty frustrated because he says to me, again, do you know what you were doing? Do you know how dangerous that was? At this point, I was so tempted to say, haven't we had this conversation? Again, resisted the temptation. I just said, no, monsieur. Oui, monsieur. And the next thing I know, he hands me back my license, and he says to me, that would have cost you a lot of money. And then he saunters off. And I sat there in shock. And I remember translating the phrase from French to English, would have, this past tense. Holy smokes, I'm not getting a ticket. I gotta say, I was gobsmacked. Afterwards, I thought about it some more, and I thought, how did that happen? Why did I get out of that ticket? My belief is that police officers, they're used to people either going predator or prey. And when, AKA Ohio. And because I did neither the whining or the crying or the intimidating, it's like he didn't have enough to justify giving me the ticket. Because also he felt that I kept holding respect for him and for myself, all that unconscious. The lesson for me is when I put my ego to the side and I choose partner and anticipate magic, amazing things can happen. Those are my tips for today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to visit my website or check out my YouTube channel or my book, The Ego Tango, for more tips on becoming a more powerful communicator. Thanks for tuning in and happy partnering.